Hello students, today I am going to take lecture on the topic radiology in periodontics. All of you know that investigations play a very important role in diagnosing the disease or a condition. Many types of investigations are there such as blood investigations, urine analysis, culture tests, radiographs, biopsies, that is histopathological examination. Out of all, the commonly used one in pediatric dentistry is radiographic examination. Dental radiographs are used to detect simple disease, that is dental caries, to complex ones like tumors, cysts and even craniofacial deformities. These radiographic images are produced by using the X-rays. You know that X-rays were discovered by Röntgen in 1895 and Coolidge invented hot cathode X-ray tube. Look at this picture. Initially, this device was used to produce the X-rays. Coming to the definitions, many definitions are there. These are the simplest definitions of the basic terminology used in this topic. Radiograph is the shadow features received on a radiation sensitive film emulsion by exposure to ionizing radiation directed through an area or region or substance of interest, followed by chemical processing of the film. Simply saying, radiograph is the record of an image produced by transmission of X-rays through an object or structures like teeth. Dental radiography is the art of producing an image or picture for intra or extraoral structures on a dental film using X-rays. And dental radiology is the branch of science that deals with the use of radiation in diagnosis of dental diseases. How these X-rays are produced, which are used to take the radiograph. This is the X-ray tube. This is X-ray tube. It mainly contains cathode and anode. Cathode is nothing but tungsten filament. Anode is also made up of tungsten that is embedded in copper stem. When we start the power supply, cathode gets heated, producing electrons. These electrons are accelerated by high voltage, and when these high speed electrons hit the anode, X-rays are produced, which are used to take the radiograph. And this is the dental X-ray unit used for intraoral films. Dental X-ray units are available in different models. This one is mounted to the roof, and this is fixed to the wall. This has the support of the stand supported, and this is a handheld X-ray machine, portable X-ray machine. I want to show a few things that are used in radiology. These are the film holders used to hold the film in oral cavity. Usually patient holds the film in oral cavity with their fingers, but we can use film holder for that. By using them, we can prevent the unnecessary exposure to the patient fingers. You can place the film in vertical position or horizontal position depending on the region and requirement. This is used for anterior teeth, this one for posterior teeth, and this is for bite wing radiographs. This is a lead apron and it is a thyroid collar or shield. They give protection against harmful X-rays. They are available in different sizes. For children, you can use smaller ones. Thyroid shield covers the neck area. Thyroid is the most radiosensitive organ in orofacial region. So we should protect it by using thyroid collar. This is a chairside dart room. Usually in radiology department there is separate room for processing the radiographs known as dart room. In order to get proper image of radiographs, we should develop or process radiographs in dark area because they are sensitive to normal light also. Usually in private clinics there is no separate dark room, but we can use this chaser dark room or portable dark room in small clinics. This is used to develop small intraoral films only. Extraoral films are big, so it's not possible to develop big films in this small chamber. Chaser dark room is a small box or chamber like setup containing two window like openings covered by cloth through which we can pass our hands and develop the film inside the box. Inside the box, small containers are present. So these containers are placed in this box. So they contain processing solutions, that is developer, fixer and also water. So here film packet is opened, film is taken out and it is processed by dipping it in the solutions for fixed time. So this lid is closed while processing the film to maintain the darkness. This is X-ray viewer. Processed film or developed film after drying is placed on this. This gives correct illumination to check the details of the radiograph, either extraoral or intraoral radiograph. IOPA film, that is intraoral periapical radiograph, is the commonly used one in dentistry. This film packet contains 4 components. This light colored one is the X-ray film. It is covered by the lead foil to protect the film from secondary radiation. And these two are wrapped. These two are wrapped by black light proof paper and the entire thing is placed in this plastic cover. You can open the packet from one side only. From this side only. You cannot open it from the other side. You can open from this side only. This is raised dot, elevated dot, also known as embossed dot. It is used for orientation of film or correct placement of film in oral cavity. You should place film so that embossed dot is towards incisal edge or occlusal surface of the teeth. It also helps in identification of region of oral cavity after processing the film. Next one is about the composition of the film. It has mainly 2 components, film base and emulsion. This central one, that is blue colored one, is the film base. Base is a plastic supporting material onto which emulsion is coated by using the adhesive, and this emulsion is protected by gelatin layer. The film should have sufficient flexibility to allow easy handling of the film. This emulsion is made of silver halide crystals, that is silver bromide and iodide, which are sensitive to X-rays and visible light also. When these particles are exposed to X-rays, they change chemically and form latent image. When we develop the film, this latent image converts to radiographically visible image. Coming to the commonly seen dental structures in radiograph and how they appear on the X-ray film. You know that calcified structures give whitish appearance, that is radio opaque, and non-calcified or uncalcified areas give dark appearance, that is radiolucent. Look at this. Enamel, dentine and cementum are calcified, so giving radio opaque appearance. Pulp is not calcified, so gives radiolucent appearance. Enamel is more calcified compared to dentine, so it gives a more radio opaque appearance. Next one is lamina dura. The root, this is the root is covered by the PDL, periodontal ligament. This is soft tissue, PDL is soft tissue, so it appears as a radiolucent line. This PDL is surrounded by dense bone layer called as lamina dura. See here, this radiopaque structure is the lamina dura. So it is thicker than the surrounding trabecular bone. And in case of infection and inflammation, there may be loss of lamina dura. Next one is alar crust. See the arrow mark. So alar crust is the gingival margin of alar process in between the teeth. You should not be more than 1.5 mm from CEJ, that is cemento-enamel junction. If it is more, that indicates loss of interdental bone. If the extension is more, that means the alar crust is more than 1.5 mm from the CEJ, that means there is bone loss, usually seen in periodontitis cases. Coming to the types of dental radiographs, mainly two types, extraoral and intraoral radiographs. OPG, that is orthopantomograph, lateral cephalogram, PA view come under extraoral radiographs. Bite wing, periapical and occlusal are the intraoral radiographs. X-ray films are available in different sizes, size 0, size 1, 2, 3 and 4. Size 0 is the smallest film used in very young children. Size 1 is used for anterior teeth in adults. Size 2 is the standard film used in adults. Size 3 for posterior bite wing radiographs. And size 4 is used for occlusal radiographs. This is the largest intraoral film, size 4, which is used for occlusal radiographs. Extraoral films are big films. For intraoral films, measurements are mentioned in mm, that is a millimeter. For extraoral films, it is given in inches. 5 into 7 inch films are used for lateral oblique view. 8 into 10 inch films for lateral cephalogram. 16 to 12 inch films for orthopantomograph. Coming to bite wing radiographs. This is important short notes for you. Look at this picture. There is an extension at the center of the film known as bite wing tab. The patient bites on this bite wing tab. Since it has bite wing, this radiograph is known as bite wing radiograph. This radiograph partly covers the maxillary teeth and partly mandibular teeth. So you can see image of both upper and lower teeth in a single film. Coming to the indications, these bite wing radiographs are used for detection of proximal caries, monitoring of progression of caries, diagnosis of periodontal disease, as a routine radiograph at regular dental checkups, and it is used to check the overhanging restorations also. So, say this is the proximal caries lesion. So, you can detect clinically invisible proximal caries lesions with this. See here, the occlusal area is intact because the caries is below the contact area. So, by using this radiograph, you can detect this proximal caries lesion. This radiograph mainly concentrates on the crown part and coronal aspect of the root. So you can check the interdental bone levels also and even the overhanging restorations also. So how often you are supposed to take these bite wing radiographs? Usually in high caries risk cases, bite wing examination is done every year. whereas in low caries risk children for every 3 years. Next one is about periapical radiographs, commonly used X-ray in dentistry. This film, this is the IOPA. This film is placed on palatal or lingual surface of teeth with embossed dot towards the lingual surface. This radiograph shows the entire tooth including the periapical area, at least 2 mm of periapical area, hence the name periapical radiograph. Here film is placed in the film holder. Coming to the indications, they are used to detect the depth of the caries. See in this one, caries appears as radiolucent area. Here it is close to the pulp, the caries is close to the pulp, and here caries involve the pulp. These radiographs are used for assessment of the periodontal status also. Even in endodontic treatment also these radiographs are used. You know about the RCT, no? Commonly done endodontic treatment. For that also IOPAs are used. And for detection of apical lesions, see here. So this is periapical lesion. Radiolucent area is seen at the apical area of the root. So for the detection of such lesions also IOPAs can be used. Even in dental trauma cases also, to know the type of fracture, extent of fracture, it is indicated. Even in extraction cases also, to know the root morphology, it is used. For example, in this case, there is root dilaceration, that is bend in the root, or even ankylosis cases also. Without radiograph, if you try to extract the tooth with forceps, the tooth will fracture. If preoperative X-ray is there, you can plan the treatment accordingly. So it is better to take X-ray before doing the extractions. I told you that IOPA is the most commonly used film in pediatric dentistry. Then what are the radiographic techniques used to shoot the radiograph or expose the radiograph? Paralleling technique and bisecting angle technique are the two techniques used for this. Paralleling technique is also known as the long cone technique, Fish-Gerald technique. Bisecting angle technique is also known as short cone technique, finger holding technique, isometric triangulation technique. In paralleling technique, film is placed on lingual surfaces of teeth parallel to long axis of the tooth. This black one is the film and this is the film holder. Film holder is used to hold the film. So the film is placed parallel to long axis of the tooth, and X-rays should be directed perpendicular to both the film and long axis of the tooth. The main advantage of this technique is dimensional accuracy of the image. That is, the dimensions of the image are same as that of teeth, and this is the simple technique. Some disadvantages are there with this technique. If you don't have film holder, you cannot use this technique. So film holder is needed to position the film correctly. The next one, it is difficult to place film holder in young children as the oral cavity is very small. Next one, oral anatomy also may make the technique difficult. For example, in case of shallow palate, the available space is less to keep the film holder. Then film along with film holder placement can be uncomfortable for the patient. Other technique is the bisecting angle technique. In this, film is placed as close to the teeth as possible, which forms an angle. See here, the long axis of tooth, this is long axis of tooth, this and film or forming an angle. Imagine a line, this line, that bisects this angle. So this is the imaginary line bisecting the angle and divides it into two equal triangles. X-rays should be directed perpendicular to this bisector. X-ray should be neither perpendicular to the tooth nor to the film, but it should be perpendicular to this bisecting line. This technique is based on simple geometric theorem, that is rule of isometry, which states that two triangles are equal when they share one complete side and have two equal angles. So if you project X-rays perpendicular to this imaginary bisector, there will be dimensional accuracy of the image. This technique can be used without a film holder, so it's comfortable for the patient and it is less time taking also. The main disadvantage of this technique is image distortion. You should imagine the bisector and focus X-rays perpendicular to this bisector. So it is technique sensitive. If there is no correct projection of X-rays, there may be elongation of the image or shortening of the image. Another disadvantage is superimposition of zygomatic buttress bone over upper molars. What is this? Look at this picture. There are two radiographs showing upper molars, maxillary molars. See the apical and periapical areas of upper molars. In the first radiograph, which was taken using the paralleling technique, there is no superimposition of the zygomatic bone over upper molars. So you can clearly see the apical and periapical areas of the teeth. But in the second radiograph, which was taken using the bisecting angle technique, there is radio opaqueness due to overlapping of zygomatic bone over the upper molars. And these apical and periapical areas of molars are not clear. So it is a disadvantage of bisecting angle technique when used in upper molar area. Next one, this slide is showing the difference between bisecting angle technique and paralleling technique. In paralleling technique, X-ray film and long axis of teeth are parallel and X-rays are projected perpendicular to both film and long axis of the tooth. Whereas in bisecting angle technique, the film and long axis of teeth form a triangle. See, both are forming a triangle and X-rays are projected perpendicular to the imaginary line which is bisecting the triangle. So this is the basic difference between these two techniques.